Namaste. This is Swami Prabodhananda again uh, in this Bhagavad Gita live session, which we are going to commence just now. So uh, we are we are studying this Bhagavad Gita second chapter, uh, and we are we are very close to completion of the second chapter. In the second chapter, Lord Krishna is talking. The place where we are now. Lord Krishna is talking about the state of a enlightened soul. What is an enlightened soul? How does it behave? And how does it talk? How does it move around? How does it live? So this is a very important aspect to understand, to know, because as we understand the lifestyle of an enlightened soul, and if we can practice this lifestyle, we also become enlightened, just by practicing them, by following the lifestyle. So as you know, that second chapter starts with the teachings of Lord Krishna, when Arjuna was completely deluded, and he was in the midst of a very huge shock, where he could not determine what to do and what not to. He became completely point blank. He became very, like, blindfolded by his ignorance, by his grief. And at that time, he surrendered before at that time he surrendered before Lord Krishna, to help him. And uh, and Lord Krishna, uh, you know uh, and then Lord Krishna started to help him, by speaking about the knowledge of the self, the knowledge by which our ignorance is eradicated, because the cause of all grief, the cause of all sufferings is ignorance. So, when we talk about ignorance, it is the ignorance about our own real nature, who we are. We don't understand this, because whenever from since our childhood, we have been told that we are a name, we are form. We have this identity. We are given this, this name, this this caste, this tradition, family tradition, religion, nationality, and all this. And we we perceive that this is what we are. We do not know the you know our real existence, our real nature. So, and because of this we lead a life, completely, ignorant about our own self, what we are. And because of this, there is a lot of problems that we face. There's a lot of, this has got a lot of repercussions. It's got a lot of consequences, like, all these sufferings that we have, all this pain that we undergo, all these hardships that we undergo. They take a toll on us. We start to become very weak. At one time, we start to feel very alone and very rejected, very dejected from this whole world. And most of us, we just sleep into this area of frustration, of depression, of all this mental, illness. But here is Lord Krishna, who talks about the reality of the self. And that is what we need to know. And that is what we and that is what we that is what is important for us. So when we know about who we are, when we know about our own identity, our real existence, that is the time when we recognize, this all this potential that we have within. Like Swami Vivekananda has said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity. So this is something which he had said. Now we need to, understand this. We need to know, we need to, just let me check all this. We need to check, you know, we need to know, this divinity which is within us. If we don't know this divinity, if we miss this, then we miss the whole essence of our life. So from the very childhood, from the very childhood, in ancient India, the children were sent to the masters, masters residence into the schools, where the masters used to be the enlightened souls. They used to be the saints, they used to be the sages. And they needed these two kinds of education. One is the material education which we need for this world, this literature, language, then this then the mathematics, science, and all this. At the same time, we need a parallel education which talks about spirituality. What is spirituality? Spirituality is the study, or is the science by which I know myself, my real nature, my potential, my being. Who am I? What kind of qualities I possess? What kind of potential I have? What kind of powers I have? What kind of capabilities I have? These all are known to me once I am I'm spiritual. Once I enter into this world of spirituality, and when I enter into this world of spirituality, then I start to know who I am, who I really am. And then my life becomes very easy. I don't fall under this, what Arjuna has fallen under. I don't fall under this kind of situation where I'm completely I'm completely taken over by grief. I'm completely taken over by ignorance. We don't fall under this kind of situation. So that is why spirituality is essential. And everybody should practice spirituality, and everybody should make people aware about spirituality, because there's a lot of misconceptions about spirituality. When we talk about spirituality, we think that spirituality means to become a monk, to renunciate, to renounce this world, and live a life of a monk. But this is not spirituality. Spirituality means to know who you are. And this you can do, being in the place where you are, without renunciating anything, without sacrificing anything, but just by leading a very normal life, leading the life which we all are living. So this is what Bhagavad Gita speaks. Bhagavad Gita has been said in the middle of a war. And when we talk about Bhagavad Gita, we say that Bhagavad Gita is a compilation of the supreme knowledge. So this supreme knowledge can also be revealed in the war, in the battlefield. So it doesn't depend whether it doesn't depend whether I am in a battlefield or I am in a monastic life. Everywhere, if I have the desire, I will attain this knowledge. So it's not necessary that to become spiritual or to have this spiritual knowledge, you need to renunciate your life. You need to just give up whatever you are doing, and then you need to move into another place, spend the life in solitude, and just practice Vedanta. This is not the thing. Vedanta is such a subject where, okay, so when Vedanta is such a subject where, which you can practice even in the midst of chaos. So here is a question by Devashish Banerjee, who says that when I vanishes, then do I stand? Very perplexing. He said, when I vanishes, I does not vanish. Now, when you do not know your I, that is the time when your I is vanished. Like, we all use this word I. We all use this word I. Now, if you try to see where is this I, you will not find it. Like I say that, I exist. Okay, I am here. Now, which one is you? Which one is you? This body is there, and I say that this is me. This is I. But this is my body. This is not I. This is my body. When I introduce myself, there's this body. So I said this is my body. That means, I and this body is separate. It's two. So this is not I. When I'm saying that this is my body, that means this body is not me. It's not I. Then, okay, I leave this body and then I go into my mind. So then, that is also my mind. So that is also not me. So, my mind, that is I and the mind. So that is also, there also, this is not I. The mind also is not me. My intellect, my ego. So everything is yours. Everything is yours. But where is this I? Actually, if you don't know yourself, if you don't know, your real nature, that is the time when your I is vanished, like you said. Now your I is vanished and you should be perplexed now, but you are not perplexed. Why? Because you are used to you have assumed this ego to be you. You have assumed this, this intellect, this mind, this body to be you, and that is why you don't get perplexed. But this is not you. This is your body. This is your mind. This is your intellect. This is your ego. Okay, so you know your ego, you know your mind, you know your intellect, you know your body. But where is that I? Can you show? Can you indicate? Can you locate where is this I? In which place? You cannot. This I is always unmanifested. This I is not, though you use this word I all the time, but this I is always unmanifested. And and to know this I, to manifest this I is all about spirituality. So when you are spiritual, it means that you are going to, you are going to manifest what this I is all about. You're going to manifest what this I is all about. It's not, so that is why, now your I is vanished. Now your I is missing. And, you are assuming a false I as the real I. You are assuming this ego as your I. This is your ego. It's a false I. It's a reflection of the real entity. Where is that? Like, there is a sun. There's the sun, the real sun, and here is a pot full of water. So in that water, there is a reflection of sun, and I said this is the sun. This is not the sun. This is the reflection of the sun. The sun is there. So here also, this I is whatever I you think, that is the reflection. The real I is Shoham. Shoham means Sa Aham. That is that. This I is indicated as that. That is inexplicable, explicable. That I is inexplicable. It cannot be explained. It cannot be expressed. Inexpressible and incomprehensible, because that I is beyond. That I is beyond. To know this I, you need to come to a master, a real master who knows this I, and he also knows the way by which you will reach this I. And this sharing of knowledge, when the master is going to impart this knowledge to you, how to realize that I, that is all about spiritual science. And when at one time, when you can behold all the teachings of the master, when you can behold all the teachings of the master, that is the time when you can, when you can realize who you are, when you can know who you are. So now the I that you are using is is you know is different from you, and you should be perplexed that you don't know this I, though you are using this word I all the time. But that is not the I. Okay, so this I, yes, this I is different from you, but you need to know this. You can know this. You can know this. That is what spirituality is all about. That is what spirituality is all about. You have to know it. Okay, so let's start our start our discourse. uh, before before starting, let us meditate for some time, and then we start. Because, and while we meditate, let us pray to God, so that we can understand this essence of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. We'll just meditate for 2 minutes, and then we'll start our discourse. Thank you very much. So, uh, so the last verse that we had discussed was this, that या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्याम जागृति संयमी, यस्याम या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्याम जगर्ति संयमी, यस्याम जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने. So these deliberations that Krishna is giving now, this was because of a question of Arjuna, who wanted to know about the nature of an enlightened soul whose wisdom is steadfast. In very very simple language, it means that, you know tell me about a person who is established in this wisdom. Because Krishna had started his teachings with wisdom, with the wisdom of the self, with the knowledge of the self. So while he was speaking about the knowledge of the self, then he started to speak about karma yoga, which talks about how to how to attain that knowledge. So now that means people attain that knowledge. People attain that knowledge, and not only that, people are, after attaining that knowledge, they also becomes established into that knowledge. And that means that it's possible, it's possible to not only attain the knowledge, but also to get established into the knowledge, so that whatever we do in our life, we do it by being connected in the knowledge, or by being the knowledge. So Krishna, when Krishna was saying all this, then Arjuna asked, is it possible for a person to 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 become completely established into the knowledge? And if it is so, how is this person? Who is this person? And how does he live? How does he live his life? How does he talk? How does he move around? So this is what he asked. And then Krishna, in these 18 verses, he talked about the nature of a realized soul whose wisdom is steadfast. That is, he is completely established into that knowledge. We have, in our earlier classes, we have discussed at length about this. So, by principle, who is this person whose knowledge is completely steadfast? This person is one who can separate himself from the desires which the mind is creating, constantly. The mind creates desires constantly, but we get attached to the desires, thinking that this is true, and this is part of my own existence. But a person who can separate himself from the desires, knowing that this is not my existence, this is just ignorance. This is just ignorance. This is just delusion. That's all. And because of delusion, I think that this is my existence. And he does not get attached to the desires. he can stay separate. And and by staying separate, he you know he connects with himself, he stays within himself. And in this way, he can you know he can have this peace, this bliss. And this person who, by not following the desires, he is completely established into himself and is satisfied by this person is said to be a person who is steadfast in knowledge or wisdom. And then he also he also described how to how to go to this place, how to reach this place. So the last thing that he had said, we had all discussed this in the earlier discussions. So if you want, you can just go to our earlier videos, and you can see we have discussed at length. So the last verse that we had discussed was this: Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sanjami, jasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashato mune. you know the meaning of this verse is, the thing that is a night for a worldly person, a person who for whom this world is a reality, a person for whom this world is the truth, and he thinks that only to enjoy this world, only to enjoy this body, the senses, is the only goal of life. you know that which is that which is day for this person is night for an enlightened soul. That means the person, these worldly persons, the values that they have, or the subjects that they value the most, the worldly persons, the subject that they value the most, for an enlightened soul, those subjects does not have any value. They consider them to be night. And and the one where they and where the worldly person sleeps, that is they consider to be night, that is the time, that is a place where the enlightened soul, they remains awake. That is the one which the worldly person does not value at all. That is the prime importance for an enlightened soul. What does an unenlightened soul value? The unenlightened soul values this world, this material wealth, material pleasure, physical pleasure, mental pleasure, emotional pleasure, emotional joy, emotional happiness, mental happiness, mental joy, physical happiness, and worldly, worldly happiness, worldly prosperity. These does not have any value for an enlightened soul, because the enlightened soul knows that this is just temporary, transitory. This is not going to stay. And because this is not going to stay, this is not reality at all. And because this is not reality, so they don't go and get indulged in this reality. But the one that is non-real for them, non-real for an unenlightened soul or the worldly person. What is non-real? This knowledge of the self, this knowledge of the self, to attain this knowledge, this knowledge of the reality, to knowledge the knowledge which transcends the mind, the body, the senses, the world. That is what which does not carry any importance for a worldly person, but that is of prime importance for a enlightened soul. So this was where we had stopped in our last class. So we start from here. So now he says, what is the nature of an enlightened soul? He says, apuryamanam machalam pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat तद्वद कामायम प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शांति माप्नोति न काम कामी. So this is a very beautiful example that he has given. You know, he is he has described the nature of an enlightened soul by an example. What is that example? Apurya manam achalam pratishtam samudra mapa pravishanti yadvad. You know, you might have seen that there is one, there's this ocean, and in this ocean there are different rivers which comes from different sides, and they come and get mixed into the ocean. So when these rivers they come and get mixed into the ocean, these waters all that the rivers bring with them, they do not create any disturbance in the calmness of the ocean. The ocean is the way it is. The water level does not rise, or there is no disturbance at all. The ocean is always calm. So in the same way, you know in case of an enlightened soul, whose wisdom is steadfast, who is into this wisdom, who is in the wisdom, who is always connected with the wisdom, or into the wisdom. So for this enlightened soul, what happens? If the desire comes from every direction, because the mind is the same. Mind of an enlightened soul and mind of an unenlightened soul are the same. So in case of an unenlightened soul, as the desires comes from different sides, in the same way the desires also comes in case of an enlightened soul. But in case of an unenlightened person, what happens? When the desires comes, they become completely distracted. They become disturbed. They run after each and every desire. They become very impatient, anxious. They need that, they need everything at that moment. They become very impatient. They become very distracted. But when this desire comes in a enlightened soul, the enlightened soul remains the same. He remains peaceful. He remains calm. So this is like he is like an ocean. Is like an ocean. Like in the ocean, as different rivers comes and gets mixed, the nature of the ocean does not change. The behavior of the ocean does not change. The calmness of the ocean does not change. In the same way, you know in the same way, maybe the desires from different sides, they come into the mind of an enlightened soul, but the enlightened soul always remains calm, quiet, happy, joyful. Okay, so this is what it says. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kam kami. Then it says, Bihaya kaman sarvan pumangsharati nishpriha nirmamo nirahankara sashantim adigachati. Now, he says, Bihaya kaman sarvan pumangsharati nishpriha. You know, Bhagavad Gita is everything about practice. Bihaya kaman sarvan. All this, let all these desires come. Let all these desires comes, but do not get attached to them. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. Renunciate these desires. You don't need to renunciate your life. You don't need to renunciate your dress, costume, or your house, or anything. You need to renunciate the desires that you have. Okay, and this is a very internal process. It has nothing to do with the external world. Okay, so vihaya kaman sarvan, by being unattached, by separating yourself, by renouncing all these desires that you have. Okay, pumang sharati nishpriha. You just go into this world, and just go and just hang out in this world without being attached to anything. Because if you do not have any desire within, you will not be attached to anything also. There is no way, there is no way that the world can attract you. The world attracts you because you have desires within, and that is why the world can attract you. So the world is not attracting you. Actually, the desires wants to get fulfilled through this world, and that is why you think that the world is attracting you. The world does not attract you at all. It is a matter. It is lifeless. How can it attract a conscious being? It cannot attract. It doesn't attract. You attract the world. You attract the world. You go and get connected with the world. And you do this only because you have these desires, unfulfilled desires, and you think that these desires are going to be fulfilled when I am into this world. These desires will never be fulfilled. Never. You will just end up being unhappy, angry, frustrated, and ultimately you are going to lose yourself. That's it. You will be a loser. So the only way by which you can stay happy in this world is to sacrifice your desire within. Don't get attached to the desires. And then when you go into this world, you will see that there is nothing in this world which can attract you. There is nothing in this world which can bind you, which can pull you towards itself, which can attract you. And that is the real happiness. You have not experienced that happiness. You need to experience that happiness. This happiness of being free. When you go into this when you go to this world, and when you are completely free, when you feel this freedom, you can go everywhere. You see things, but you see that you are not at all attached to anything. Nothing is attracting you. You can appreciate everything, but that's it. You don't want to acquire them. You don't want to attain them. And that is the real happiness. Vihaya kaman sarvan umang sharati nishpriha. You need to separate yourself from the desires, and then just go to this world, and and move around, dwell in this world by being unattached. Nirmamo. Then it says nirmamo nir ahankara sashantim adhigachati. Nirmamo means mama means me and mine. Everywhere we have this. This is mine, this is mine, this is his, this is mine. This is me and mine. This me and mine is the cause of bondage. This is my thing, this is my book, this is my bed, this is my car, this is my house. Everything is mine. Nothing is yours. These are all objects. These are all objects which belong to somebody else before some time, and after some time it will belong to somebody else. Don't impose yourself in this, thinking that this is yours. These are never yours. This cannot be yours at all. Okay, so never get attached to them. Nirmamo. Don't think that anything in this world belongs to you. Nothing belongs to you. The only thing that belongs to you is you yourself. That is the only thing that belongs to you. A thirsty man quenches his thirst. Is it desire? No, this thirst itself is desire. And this quenching his thirst is the action that he does to fulfill his desires. But the desires never gets fulfilled. The desires, changes form. The desires changes form. I have a desire to have one ice cream. I go to the ice cream parlor, I see all these ice creams, and then I end up going to the ice cream parlor every day. So, I had a desire to have ice cream for one day, but then I end up going to the ice cream parlor every day. So my desires did not end. They just multiplied. They became many faceted. So this is how everything happens. I need one car. The moment I have this one car, then I see another car which is better than that car, and I need that one now. I need a house. When I need a house, I have this house, but while I am having this house, I see another bigger house, better house, and then I move, I want that one. So these desires are never fulfilled. They are an unending process. They are an unending process, and that is why, you know it is not fulfilled. And that is why, when you go to the master says that if you really want to have desire to realize yourself. Because when you realize yourself in this process, all the desires that you have, all these major desires, there are certain desires that we have, which are our major desires, which shape our life, which shapes our life. And if they are not completed, we think our life is, unfulfilled. So, it's very important that those desires gets completed, because if they don't get completed, then, we lose interest of our life. So if we move for, you know any one of these desires that we have, prominent desires that we have, we will see that all our life we have been running to attain that desire, but, not even one desire gets fulfilled. So when you concentrate in knowing yourself by the teachings of your master, when you go to your master says, the only thing that you need to know is who you are. So when you concentrate there, when you increase this, the master also, encourages you to increase your desires, increase your desire, increase your desire. As the master, gives you this, this encouragement, increase your desire, increase your desire. The more you increase your desires to get, to get, to attain the self, then you see in that process, all the desires that you have, this prominent desires that you have, very very strong desires that you have, they all gets, completed. So that is the only way to complete your desires, to know yourself. Okay. So, you can only avoid this hunger, this thirst, by having the hunger and thirst for your own self. If you have that, you will see that all the desires have been completed. Yes, your master is yourself. It's true. And thank you, Reshamji. Yes, I will send you this. This gets uploaded after some time. Like it needs like 3 or 4 hours, and then these speeches, they get uploaded. And once they get uploaded, they will reach you. Thank you very much for watching these videos. So, what I was saying was nirmamo, nirmamo. That is, never think anything to be yours. Just use them. Just use them. To sail through your life, to do your works, to perform your duties, but don't claim their authority. Don't claim them to be yours. Nirmamo. The moment you claim things, then you are going to inherit all the qualities of that matter. You're going to inherit all the qualities of the matter. Plus, the matter always brings sorrows. Matter always brings pain. So, because they're not permanent. So because they are not permanent, they are at one point, they are going to bring pain to you. So you not only inherit the nature of the matter, at the same time, you also bring with you, you know all the consequences of owning this matter. And the consequences are only pain and sufferings. you know if you want to see, you see the world around, you can see this. Everybody has all this money, power, everything. But are they happy? They are not happy. They're all running. They're all running. Why they're running? Because they don't know what to do. Because they could not find peace. They could not find peace. They thought that by attaining this, they're going to attain everything. But after attaining this, they see that nothing has been attained. Where is peace? Where is happiness? Where is love? They don't find it. And because they don't find it, you know, they don't find any other way but to just run and run, run and run away from those which they have accomplished. And this is what life is all about. So don't go into this. You can have a very beautiful life. Don't think that spirituality is going to stop the growth of your life. Spirituality never stops the material growth of your life. The more you go within yourself, the more you penetrate the penetrate the depths of your own existence. You see, you become much more prosperous in your material life. This is a very simple science which we don't understand, and which we never wanted to understand, because prosperity does not depend upon owning some material wealth. Prosperity is something which is within. It is within. It has to reveal itself, and it's there. So you need to reach up to that limits. You need to reach up to that point where there is prosperity, where there is happiness, where there is peace, where there is well-being, and that well-being attracts everything that you need. This is a very simple science which nobody understands. But all the spiritual people, they understand this, and that is why their only focus is to go into the depth of their own existence. They don't want to claim anything in the external world. They're always humble. They say nothing is mine. We say everything is mine. See, this is my house. This is what I've attained. This is what I've earned. We take pride in saying this. But if you see any spiritual world or spiritual people, they will never say, this is mine, this is what I've attained. They will say, these are all his. This has been given to me. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. His hands are always folded. His shoulder is always bowed down. His head is always bowed down because of gratitude. He's always humble. He's always thankful. He's always thankful to himself. He's thankful to his master. He's thankful to God. He's thankful to universe. And that is why he never does any injustice to anybody. He can feel the pain of everybody. And he can love everybody. He can love everybody because he knows that he is everything. He is everything. So if you really want, prosperity, if you really want material wealth, the very best way to attaining everything and enjoying them is to go within yourself, is to realize who you are, penetrate yourself, go into the depth of your own existence. That is the only way by which you can attain, you can know, you can feel your own existence. Okay, so this is the thing. So bihaya kaman sarvan pumang sharati nishpriya nirmamo nirahankara. Nirahankara. Don't be don't be full of ego. I don't do this. Remain humble. Substitute this word I with he. he he has done everything. It's because of him. It's his or her. Either it's he or it's her. You can talk about the supreme as God, who is a male God, or a female, he's a mother. Both the same. There's the mother and the male and female, as far as God is the same. There's no masculine or feminine God. There's only one God. We impose this masculine or feminine characters within them. So while speaking, we say it's his, it's hers, but it's both are the same. You can say his, you can say her, but don't say this is mine. So a person who does not have this, me and mine, this is mine, this is mine, and ahankara, I. He does not have this, he does not have this I thing. He does not have this ego. That is the person who has attained supreme happiness, absolute happiness, absolute peace. Sa shantim adhigacchati. That is the person who has attained supreme happiness, absolute peace. Okay. And now we are in the last verse of the second chapter. It says that Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Bimuchati Stitva Shanta Kalopi Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. He said, this is what it is all about. Brahmi Sthiti, that is Sthita Pragya, one who is established into the self. Now, whatever I have said, this is all about this. A person who is established into the self, this is how he is. This is how he talks. This is how he is, he behaves, he moves around. This is how he dwells in this world. So this is what Brahmi Sthiti is all about. This is what Sthita Pragya, being steadfast in knowledge, is all about. And if you attain this, you are never going to miss it. It's not going to, not going to go away from you. It's always going to stay with you. You are connected with it forever. It's not going to, not going to go away from you. Once you have attained the state of steadfastness into knowledge, you are always steadfast in knowledge. Whatever work you do or not do, in the Bhagavad Gita, next chapter is Karma Yoga. There we will see how this extension happens. Once a person is established into the self, whatever work he does, when we are going to study this chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, these chapters, they talk at length about this. When a yogi is established into the knowledge, into the self, whatever does, he does not do anything. He's not attached to anything. He does not face or suffer the consequences of his karmas. Why? Because he's always connected to the self. He's always connected to the self. So once you have attained the state of Brahmisthiti or Sthita Pragya, this is not going to go. Stitva Shanta Kalopi Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. Even if you have attained this state of Sthita Pragya at the end of your life, even if you have attained the state of Sthita Pragya at the end of your life, you will remain eternally connected with the self, with Brahman, with Atman, with the self, with consciousness. So this is the third chapter. This is the third chapter. This is the second chapter, which has come into completion. Om Tat Sadati Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu Upanishadshu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjun Sangvade Sankhya Yoga Nama Ditya Adhyaya. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much. So in the next class, in the next discourses, that is on Saturday, on Saturday, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about chapter 3, more elaborately. And one thing I'm just trying to, I thought something about this. I have seen something called premiere. If I can, because when I come live on YouTube at 8:30, at that time we are still having these prayers downstairs, in our prayer room. So it's like I have to skip the Mahamantra and then I have to come here, and people stay there, and maybe they feel a little bit of awkwardness. So is it possible? Please write to me if it is possible like this, that if I just upload this, I upload this upload this beforehand, and then publish it at 8:30. Like we have this premiere at 8:30, and it's just like a live chat. at 8:30 it just starts to play. If that is possible, then we can do that. But there is one problem, that we will not have this live chat, and we cannot have this interaction. So, just think about it, and let me know. Thank you very much, and we are going to meet again on Saturday 8:30. Namaste.